No, really, school is completely closed. I'm on a janitorial team that was sanitizing our public school buildings during the cancellations last week. Monday, I arrived for my first day and I was tackling an auditorium. It was no secret that schools were closed. It was on the news, there were signs on the doors. I think the city even sent a text alert about it to anyone signed up for municipal notifications, and the school absolutely sent emails. But as I am beginning to clean, with my card and my janitorial uniform, a woman comes in with two kids, 5 and 7-ish. I say, "Hey, I'm sorry, the school is closed for the rest of the..." And she cuts me off and says, yeah, I know, but this is the daycare service, right? No, what? No, I'm just a member of the cleaning crew. Well, where's the daycare? There, what? I don't think there is one. We're sanitizing every room today. You could go to the office and ask, but I didn't see anyone in there. It's really just us. Oh, great, so you're in charge. I'll be back at 2:15, right? I'm not in charge of anything. You'll need to go to the office or probably go home actually. I don't think there is any kind of service. What are you talking about? They wouldn't just cancel school without the daycare service for working parents. Where's your boss? My boss is also a janitor. Trust me, they cannot help you. Now, at this point, the kids had begun to run around the gym, which meant I would have to re-sanitize whatever they've touched. So I said more firmly, "You need to go. I'm not supposed to let people in here during cleaning." At this point, I wasn't sure if she was messing with me or if she really didn't know. She seemed busy. She had a cell phone in one hand and no hands on the kids. Without looking up, she says, "Well, you should have cleaned before the kids started to arrive, shouldn't you?" I'm starting to wonder if I'm the crazy one at this point. There are no kids arriving. I'm cleaning. The school is closed. I know the school is closed. That's why I'm leaving them in the daycare. And just like that, she was off. I was calling after her, "Hey, excuse me, lady, you cannot leave kids in here." I didn't know what to do about it, so I took the kids to my boss and asked what we needed to do. The boss said, "So they just left these kids here? Why didn't you tell her the school was closed? Who doesn't know that by now?" I explained that I did tell her, and she either was so checked out she didn't understand or she chose to ignore me. So the boss said, "This is all way too risky. We can't keep an eye on them, and there are dangerous products, and who knows why she left them there. We don't need this problem. Better call whoever you call about kids with no one to watch them." Cops? We also had one of the janitors trying to get a name and number of the kids, but they didn't really know. But we have a few undocumented immigrants on the crew and a couple of others who just been nervous to have cops buzzing around the workplace, so we googled it and ended up calling a child services hotline. Ultimately, a social worker came and with cops, but they didn't bother anyone though, just focus on the kids. The cops went through the kids' bag and found their last name on a school binder and found a number to call. They got the kid's father, who was irate. They had the conversation on speakerphone, so I cut bits and pieces. Like, "What do you mean they're where? Aren't school closed?" And he was there within 10 minutes. I guess he called his wife for an explanation during that time because she arrived not too soon afterwards. The cops and social worker were lecturing them, and the woman was like, "I left them with the daycare worker in the drop-off area." And they reiterated there was no daycare, and they had no idea what she was talking about. So to the point, I thought, okay, I guess she's just really, really dumb. Then the cops let them go with a warning about understanding where they are leaving their kids and with whom. But as they were leaving, the woman sneered at my boss. "Was it really such a big deal that you had to call the police?" So, now I wonder whether she was trying to pull a fast one on us or if she was just that stupid. The world may never know, but I still laugh at the story. The day I was hired and fired from my law firm. So, this is about 5 years ago. I worked as a chef at a bakery. It was my job to make everything but the baked goods. Every morning, the baker and I would walk in at about 4 a.m. and knock out all the food needed for the day. This would leave me ready to go home around 10 a.m. or so. This put us at the perfect time to deliver online orders. It was common for companies or other entities to place large catering orders for us. The baker and I would split them down the middle and deliver them on our way home. The delivery in question was for Rob, Dick, and Harry, attorneys at law. I've never delivered to them before, but they were a regular of sorts. Every financial quarter, they would hold a huge meeting. This meeting would require roughly $700 of bagels and bagel accessories. This spread included 8 dozen bagels, all 10 of our flavors of cream cheese, pastries, brownies, and enough coffee to power a college dorm through finals week. My passenger seat, entire back seat, and entire trunk are filled with food. Now, BD&H is located on the 9th floor of a commercial skyscraper deep in an industrial complex downtown. Parking was non-existent. There were meters outside the building, but I knew I would need close to 10 trips to deliver all of this food. I didn't have a lot of change on me. Company policy was to just pay whatever fines I needed to park and then turn in my receipts. The money would end up on my next paycheck. So the building has its own parking garage, so I pull on in. The security guard, let's call him Sam, stops me and says that the parking garage is for employees only. I happily show him my delivery invoice and offer him a bribery bagel. Never leave the store without at least 2. Sam refuses the bagel and says I can park in one of the guest spots on the bottom floor. The fee is $5 for every 30 minutes, minimum $10. I thank him and head to the bottom floor of the garage, so there are a total of 6 guest parking spaces. Just 6. All of them were taken. I head back to talk to Sam when I see an open parking spot reserved for Bob, Dick, and Harry, attorneys at law. There are cars in every spot, with many spots being reserved for employees by name. The last spot is empty and is reserved for guests of BD&H. Perfectly, I pull on in. I grab the most important part of the delivery, the coffee, and head to the stairwell. I get into the elevator and hit the button for floor 9. The elevator asks for my employee ID card. Well, crud. So I try the lobby. That works. From there, it's 9 flights of stairs until I am outside the law firm of Bob, Dick, and Harry. After introducing myself, I am shown to the room where the meeting will take place. A table is set aside for me. I set down the coffee and head for trip number 2. This is when I see Sam talking to the receptionist. He runs over and starts shouting at me. I am putting a boot on your effing car. I told you to park in guests on the bottom floor. I don't get a word in before he launches into a speech about security and how I could be hurting his building or people. That is when a very well-dressed man walks over. It so happened to be Bob, the Bob of Bob, Dick, and Harry's. Bob asks what is the problem, and soon the two are arguing. Bob, OP is delivering food for my meeting. He is allowed to use my parking spots. Sam, those parking spots belong to the building. You are leasing them like you lease this floor. I am the one who says who can park there. He isn't an employee, so he isn't parking. Bob, then I am making him an employee. Sam, you can't do that. Bob, you know what? You are right, Harry. Harry, get over here. Harry walks over with an amused look on his face. Bob, Harry here is the head of our HR department. Harry, hire this boy. Harry pulls out a piece of paper and scribbles. OP is now a member of Bob, Dick's, and Harry's, and signs it, then asks me to sign as well. I do so. Bob reaches over to the receptionist, who is already grabbing some things. Bob, here's your employee badge, your parking permit, and your elevator key card. Now please do the job I have hired you to do and deliver my bagels. Sam looks on in utter fury as I ride the elevator down to my car. 7 sweet elevator rides later, all the food is delivered. Bob and Harry meet me at the table. Bob, OP, you have made great strides in this company and I am proud of your work, but I feel it's time for us to part ways. Here's your final check. Bob then hands me a crisp $50 bill. Harry, and your severance package? Now please be sure to return your badge and card on the way out. Harry hands me a $20 and sends me on my way. The receptionist is sure to validate the parking ticket that Sam gave me and I head on out. On the way out, Sam grins at me and asks for my ticket. I place it in a machine in his station. It sees the validation I got and lets me out for free. Sam glares at me as I drove off into the late morning sun. Apparently, the old lady I always help in the grocery store thought I worked there. I do my shopping the exact same time every week in a large grocery store. There's a little old woman who usually does her shopping at around the same time. She has some mobility issues and doesn't buy much, so after a few times of seeing her having to flag down help every time she wanted something from a shelf above shoulder level, I approached her and asked if she would like a shopping companion. It took me under 10 minutes to get everything on a list, and she was very gracious and grateful, even offered me a few dollars, which I didn't accept, of course. I didn't give this a second thought. I wasn't raised to question whether you take 10 minutes to help an old woman in the grocery store or not. It's just what you do. So next week, when I saw her again, I asked if she would like someone to shop with her, and she was again very grateful for the help. It became our usual routine that whenever I spotted her, usually every other week or two, I would give her a hand. One week I didn't do my shopping at the usual time. I worked a little late, and when I came in there was a big fuss at the customer service desk, involving my shopping friend and a young man. I started to go over to be sure everything was alright and hear the young man saying, "What do you mean? No one with that name works here." She had a name tag on. My mom saw the name, "Right, Ma?" And she said she did. And the Flumox customer service kid is saying he really doesn't have anyone by that name who works there. The young man is going, what do you mean? Did you fire her? She was here last week, right, Ma?" And I realize it's my name and the potential source of confusion. I go in for shopping immediately after work, and my work uniform is a maroon shirt and khaki pants with a name tag. The grocery store I shop at has white shirts, any kind of pants you want, and a maroon apron with the store logo, so it's a little similar. I go over and she gleefully cries, "There you are! I want you to meet my son." And he started telling me how grateful he is I was taking time out of my work to personally help his mom shop, and now that he's in town, he wanted to say thanks in person and give me some money, or at least put in a good word with my manager at the store. So could I point them out so he could speak with them? I explained the confusion and they were both so touched. It was one of the most poignant moments of my life, and definitely the most meaningful I've ever had in a supermarket. So those were the stories for today's video. If you enjoyed this and want to watch more videos, then click here for more stories, or go check out the info card in the right corner for more videos.